Welcome back to the 5-Star Weekend Official Podcast. I'm your host, Elin Hilderbrand. Today, we're getting into episode 5, entitled Saturday Night Nice Dinner Out. We have a jam-packed podcast to break it all down. Here's our itinerary. First, I'll answer one of your fan questions in Book Talk, presented by On the Rocks, bartender-created cocktails. After that, our fabulous guests arrive for the main event. Showrunner Bekah Brunstetter, and executive producer and director Minkie Spiro. We'll break down where we find our stars in this pivotal episode and how Bekah and Minkie brought it to life. Let's dig in. First up, your fan questions. This is Book Talk presented by On the Rocks. I've got my delicious jalapeno pineapple margarita right here, and I'm ready to answer some of your questions. Let's hear today's question.
Hi, Ellen. I'm Jill.
And I'm Kyle.
And we're from Dallas, Texas. We've been in a book club together for more than 25 years, and we are both Elin Hilderbrand super fans.
Jill introduced me to your books, and since then I've read all of them.
Our question for you is
there a storyline or character that you feel worked even better on screen than in the book?
Thanks, Ellen. We love you.
Hello, ladies. It's so good to see you. What an excellent question. There is an entire episode in episode 4 set at the spa, and there is no spa on Nantucket that is like Honey and Sage. And so I thought it was a great addition for Bekah to write in a spa scene that is not in the book. I feel like everybody out there will agree with me. The spa scene is aces. It's brilliant and it's really memorable. And I'm so glad that she added it. Thank you, Jill and Kyle, and everyone for sending these questions in. But now it's time to go to my conversation with showrunner Bekah Brunstetter and executive producer and director Minkie Spiro, where we'll break down the 5th episode. Bekah and Minkie, thank you for being with me here today. Tell our viewers and listeners at home what it is you did in the show.
I'm Bekah Brunstetter. I'm the creator and showrunner of the 5-Star Weekend.
And I'm Minkie Spiro, the director and exec producer of 5-Star Weekend.
This is so exciting. We are here to talk about episode 5. A lot happens. This is really a turning point for the ladies. So, Minkie, I want to start with you. You directed episode 5, but you also directed our pilot episode, which sort of set the tone. And a big decision that you made was to film on Nantucket.
100%.
Can you talk a little bit about that decision?
You know, your book is so, like, Nantucket is a character.
Yeah.
And once we went to visit it and scouted it, it just was a no-brainer. We had to spend time on that magical island to really feel the sense of place for the ladies.
Okay, so you're a seasoned director. What were some of the special, unique challenges about filming on Nantucket? You can be honest. It's
I want to say real quick, I checked with our line producer, Mary Howard, yesterday to make sure. And it was something like 273 crew people and 96 vehicles that we got onto Nantucket via these ferries. It's not the most accessible place, especially from LA. You could go to Italy.
Right. So for those of you at home that don't know, Nantucket is 30 miles off the coast of Cape Cod.
Indeed.
I mean, obviously we went there after, was it Labor Day? Now, what was the big...
You're correct.
Right after Labor Day.
Right? So, because until then it is rammed.
Right.
So it would have been impossible.
Right.
But obviously we managed to piss off most of the wedding parties.
I'm sure.
Because with 240 cast and crew, we literally from April had booked out the entire island.
Yes.
It meant that for many hotel staff and people that work on the island, they got to spend another month of paid work. So
Yeah, lots and lots of business. I want to shout out Holgate's Laundry, which was the dry cleaner, and they did all of the laundry for the show. And my friend Amy, who works there, she was like, it was so good for business. And Nantucket Looms. I mean, there were so many island businesses that really reaped an enormous benefit, as well as the restaurants and the hotels and things that you don't always think of contributing to the economy of Nantucket.
I feel like Minkie needs to talk about her first trip to Nantucket and that ferry ride.
Oh, tell us, Minkie, about your first. Okay.
I mean,
it was cold.
I mean, cold is an understatement.
Yeah.
It was bloody freezing. And
Yeah.
I remember we went to look at lighthouses first.
Oh dear.
And there was one lighthouse. You'll know
Great.
the
It's
one.
Great Point out at the tip, or was it Sankaty with the red?
Sankaty. And I was trying to take photographs, and first of all I couldn't feel my fingers,
Yeah.
and then I nearly got blown over. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
insane the weather
Correct.
there. But when we got there, it was blissful. When we actually got to film there,
Exactly.
it was pretty amazing.
You had
but
perfect weather. Let's dig in to episode
Let's do it.
5 because there's a lot to cover. Starting with dinner at Crew. I just want to shout out actual Crew. I have two of my children work there. My oldest son was a bartender there, and my daughter is presently a hostess there. And so it's a real restaurant on Nantucket that you can go to. You guys shot partially at actual Crew for the exteriors, and then I believe at a restaurant somewhere in
Huntington Beach, Redondo,
Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey.
Yeah.
How would you describe Hollis at this point of the weekend?
Oh man, I mean, she's really reaching a breaking point, and it's one of the parts I love from your book that really stuck with me. That I think we all feel this way when we host.
Yeah.
I mean, she's doing it for a whole weekend.
Right.
Just imagine doing it for an evening. There comes a point where you're like, everything's sort of like not going well, and you're realizing that you're out of touch with people and that there's conflict that you haven't dealt with in your life, and yet your house is full of people. And you feel like, what did I do? Why did I do this to myself?
Right.
And on top of her hitting a bit of a wall in terms of the hostessing, she's suffered an immense loss that she hasn't really processed. She's in a bad place with her daughter. So she's kind of just in over her head. That's how we considered this episode when we were breaking out the whole season, really building her to her true breaking point, really cracking her open by the end of this episode.
So the way that the women get to Crew is via Nantucket.
A Nantucket,
A Nantucket,
which is a real thing.
which is a real thing.
Oh, tuk-tuks.
Looks like a big
I am not riding with you.
Here we go.
Dream come true. Are we there yet?
What was it like filming with the tuk-tuks?
I have to say what was funny also is they were telling us the story of
Yeah.
Michael, who runs a business. He had, there's quite a distinctive crowd in Nantucket. And
Sure.
discerning, I should
Yeah,
say.
discerning.
And they were a little bit concerned about this idea of tuk-tuks.
Yeah.
Because if you go to London and you look at the tuk-tuks, they're, garish, and they're blasting music, and they're the antithesis of what Nantucket is.
Right.
So he had to sort of bring a tuk-tuk there and pitch to the committee exactly how restrained and beautiful his tuk-tuks are going to be, and they were.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I actually broke my ankle. So Michael and
Not on the
his-
tuk-tuk.
Not on the tuk-tuk, but
Unrelated to the tuk-tuk.
the tuk-tuk became my go-to when I
Right.
had to get from A to B on the island and the cobbled stones.
Exactly.
Michael was my hero.
Let's talk a little bit about Brooke's journey. So if we remember, Brooke, first of all, decides she's not going with forced dress code, right? She's going to wear the green top. Tell me about the importance of that choice.
Oh man. I mean, also from the book, right? One of the scenes that really resonated with me is when she goes shopping with Gigi.
Yes.
Shoving herself into the Nantucket uniform,
Right.
the Nantucket Reds, and then, rejecting that
Yep.
uniform. And I love how her journey inside is externalized through what clothes she wears.
Right.
And just like putting on something that she wants to wear that isn't like something she would normally wear is such a big
Can I
deal
just
for her.
correct you? It's not green.
It's chartreuse.
It's chartreuse.
Shout out to my writer Asia Gable, who wrote the episode.
Yeah.
That was her mind baby from the beginning, and I've always loved it.
Okay, my favorite line is where she's like, I'm not sure if I want to go out. And Regina says, well, your shirt does.
Yes, indeed.
Can we talk about favorite lines later?
Yes.
Remind me to
Okay,
talk about
we'll do it.
favorite
Because
lines
I
later.
also, my favorite line is also from when Brooke has on, and I texted you when Brooke has on the black and white outfit that she's
Yes.
supposed to wear.
You look super hot.
No, I don't. I look like a sad panda at a bankrupt zoo. Ugh.
As soon as I saw it, I hit pause. I texted Bekah, and I am like, that line is the best line. It is so funny. It was so funny.
There's quite a few in that episode.
That's just me, like,
Yes.
after the kids go to bed, like, okay, all right.
I thought it was so great. So Brooke at the table is sort of dealing with her questioning her
Yeah.
sexuality. She says, I'm not bi, I'm a mom.
Right.
Talk to me about that line and what that meant.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just so hard later in life to change, right? It's hard to change at any point, but it's also a really common story for women to come out later in life. And we wanted to really honor that and slow the story down and give it some depth. I was so happy that we could cast Roberta as her love interest, who was in plays of mine like 20 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And she and Darcy know each other from A League of Their Own.
Oh,
And
okay.
and
Yes.
she is just so striking and such a sweet, intelligent person. And I just got so excited to have Brooke go through this journey of just seeing herself in a whole new light. Because sometimes when we go away from our regular lives, even for like a weekend, there's something about time kind of slows down.
Yeah.
And you start to ask yourself these questions that you don't have the space to ask yourself in your regular life, right?
Right.
I love that story so much.
It sometimes takes friends to help you
See yourself from the outside.
yeah,
I don't wanna
and then
put words in your mouth.
support that journey.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for Brooke to
Make
go
you
on
feel
that,
safe enough to
yeah,
have it. Yeah.
Yeah.
because it is a huge journey to take to acknowledge what your genuine path is.
Correct. So
And
if Brooke hadn't gone on the weekend,
I believe it would never.
she stays with Charlie. Things are status quo.
Yeah.
She may have an aha moment down the road, but it's not. It's certainly
Nothing
not.
she'd ever have the courage to say out loud, I don't think.
And I think that's what's so beautiful about this show is that it really speaks to what friendship and female friendship can be in people's lives.
Yeah. I think
Anyway,
you're
chicken box.
absolutely right. Okay, moving on to 80s Night at the Chicken Box. First of all, there's so much happens, but what are your favorite moments?
I mean, it has to, for me, it's Darcy
I
dancing
agree.
on her own.
Right.
I agree.
And then that turning into her dancing with Sunny.
yeah,
so
with Sunny.
so beautiful. And our DP Terry just lit the shit out of it and shot it so beautifully. And I remember, I hope it's okay if I say, like, Terry's a queer woman, and it was just so exciting that day.
Yeah.
You'll find that there's a different language that we use long lens, we use big fuck off wides, if I'm allowed to say that. And then we do these close and wides. And so I said to Terry, just take the bloody camera off the dolly and I want you to just get in there.
Yeah.
And I think because she's queer, there was this simpatico, they were just in tune and she was able to, I told her to just dance with them.
Right.
And capture those moments like the hand touching the other hand or them. It's a real team effort to capture that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's also giving dance, it's really hard. Imagine you're on set.
Right.
And you have to get up there and dance on your own.
Right.
It's really intimidating, but just
Exactly.
giving Darcy the courage and the confidence and the trust to just go do your thing, girl, and I'm with you. And then I remember saying to her, I think we had a meeting with her where we talked about, you're like this cocoon and this butterfly just suddenly comes alive. So it was just,
that's exactly what it feels like.
it's, she started off with her hands close to her, and then by the end I said, you're free.
Yeah.
And so she sort of illustrated that with the way she used her arms in that sequence.
That is just very beautiful. I want to talk a little bit about the dynamic between Drew Ann and Tatum and Hollis at the Chicken Box. Do you guys want to talk about that?
I mean, I could talk about the visual language of that. So I think the way the Chicken Box sequence was written felt almost like individual scenes. But I love it when things feel organic and we're moving within space and time and that there are handoffs as opposed to hard cuts from one to the other. So after Tatum has an argument with Kyle, she goes to the bar, that hands us off to Joanne and her. Then when she comes back, they have a further argument and he storms off, she goes out for a cigarette. And as she's walking out, she looks over towards Brooke, talking with Sunny, and now the camera can settle there. So it was very much a kind of piece of choreography that hopefully doesn't feel like choreography, but just feels like
we're all there in the bar
Yeah.
with these characters. I mean, that's what it felt like to me. So meanwhile, Gigi is at home with John Mark. So John Mark, her flight attendant friend, shows up out of nowhere, which was the most surprising moment for me. I was thrilled. I'm like, who is it that knows Gigi? And he is so charming.
Yeah.
And so funny. So can you talk a little bit about that scene in Hollis's kitchen?
Yeah. Well, I loved in the book that Gigi has these flight attendant buddies.
Right.
That she has dinner with, that they're essentially her confidants, and they're this gay couple that live near her. And I wanted to emulate that in some way and but put it on screen, right? Like activate it. But, Gigi's this really solo lady, right? Like who goes into flying because she doesn't really like to be tied down and doesn't like to get close to people because she doesn't want to get hurt. And I think giving her one close friend who happens to be a coworker was really interesting to me because, coworkers, talk about friendships, like coworkers, you can also get really intimate with your coworkers and they can support you in ways that will blow your mind, right?
Yeah.
So I just loved this idea of her having this one true friend and him showing up to rescue her / stop her from sabotage.
Right. And his payoff is that he gets to go to Hollis's kitchen
and touch her
and he
KitchenAid.
looks like a kid in a candy store, right? And he's like, oh, are you writing her a letter in your personalized journal?
Yes.
And the journal she had personalized for you?
This is so insane. Oh my God. Please don't tell me you're writing her a letter like a little woman. And in the adorable journal she had personalized for you? What is wrong with you?
Talk to me a little bit, Minkie, about the conversations you had with Gemma about, the difficult humanity of being a person who's done something wrong or feels right in the moment, whatever, and then still being a good person. Because that's a line that a lot of my characters in my novels walk.
I think for Gemma as well, it was a real challenge because there was a true connection between her and Matthew. And obviously with her past and her father, I think she really didn't want to be that woman.
Right.
But you just can't, when something's undeniable and feels so honest and truthful to where they connected, there was this synergy in it. What Bekah developed in that initial bar scene was that it was so easy to talk to one another. They got each other. And for Gemma, it was really important that she didn't feel evil, like the evil mistress.
Right.
And it was a constant conversations with Gemma about how we can make her feel three-dimensional and not the one that all the audiences were going to hate.
Right.
And I do think...
I don't think anybody would hate her in the end because she is so beautifully portrayed as a complicated person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's such a beautiful theme in the book. That's one of the first things I wrote down when I was reading the book, forgiveness.
Yeah.
And just everyone being worthy of forgiveness and how we all do awful things.
Yeah.
And it's Gigi forgiving herself.
Yeah. It's Gigi forgiving herself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is the theme that I explore again and again and again in my novels.
Yep.
I'm called a, beach read or whatever, but I'm always looking at flawed characters who are good people.
Yes.
That is sort of my currency, right? And it is especially true here with Gigi.
I would say there's also something so fundamentally messed up about somebody agreeing to go to this weekend.
Right.
So
and
great.
that's also just so delicious because it's I think everybody would want to do that, but most people wouldn't have the balls to do that.
Exactly.
And she does it. And then that whole thing of her walking through Matthew's office.
Right.
It's just, there's something so messed up and yet so real about it.
Right.
Yeah.
I was very tense during that scene. I'm like, get out of there. Someone's going to see you in there. How are you going to explain it?
What is she actually doing there? What is her motive?
Right.
In a way, it was just making us feel a little bit like, where's this going?
Where's this going?
But
I
actually,
know.
it was all innocent.
So also in this episode, Hollis and Caroline have their boiling point, right? Because Hollis discovers that Caroline has dropped out of school and that Drew-Ann knows and she doesn't.
Yep.
So that's big. And then we also have the scene where Hollis and Jack get together. Ooh. So in the interest of romance, let's talk a little bit about shooting the scene between Jen Garner and Timothy Oliphant with the extreme song More Than Words.
I love that song at the skating rink, literally at the skating rink, 12 years old, trying to get a boy to skate with me. That was my song. So it felt right right for them. As we know that Tim and Jen worked together before. They knew each other from Catch and Release. So there was like a trust and a friendship there. And he's just the best dude. He's just a good.
How can you not swoon?
Man.
He is he is going to be the internet's boyfriend. You hear me, internet? Okay.
There was just such like an ease between them. That Bronco that he drives is actually my friend's car.
Yes.
My friend Mamrie's car, who plays the hostess in this episode. At the Yacht Club, yes.
At the Yacht Club, okay, yes.
But talking about favorite lines.
Okay.
So Bekah and I, on the day that we were shooting this volume stage scene with Hollis and Jack, we were in the green room rehearsing. So the way it works is we run the lines first, and then we start to hear it out loud, and then we just find the shape for it. And Jen G stops us and says, my favorite line of the entire season is in this scene. So I said, don't tell me.
Don't tell me.
Let's guess.
Okay.
Let's guess.
I'm dying to know.
We
what it
got
is.
it completely
We
wrong.
did.
Go on. Can you guess?
No.
Shall we? After 3?
Yeah.
It's just spooky.
She loves that line.
She
well,
loves
that's
that
just
line.
spooky. She loves that line.
It's just spooky.
It's just spooky.
And that was it.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
that
Well,
became
that's just
her
spooky.
catchphrase.
It's
So
just
all I ever think about when I watch that scene, prior to the big moment, obviously, but
Right.
when I'm driving there,
Right.
it's just that line.
Their dance in particular was really lovely. I mean, every night that we got to shoot outside of that house was such a gift because, you know, you could see the stars.
Yeah, I know.
We don't get to see the stars
Yeah.
here in LA that often. It was just a beautiful night.
Yeah, and because of their past working relationship,
Yeah.
you know, normally as a director, you have to kind of get them to a place where kissing isn't going to feel awkward,
Right.
and how long's it for, and they were
Right,
just
sure.
they just went for it. There was
Okay, yeah.
there was no beating around the bush. But the other thing just to mention about that particular sequence is that one decision we made in prep was that whenever Matthew reappeared in her imagination, in her consciousness, he was always going to wear the outfit he died in. But the one time we broke that rule was for this sequence because I needed that moment
Right.
to feel seamless.
Yeah.
So he wore a very similar
Outfit to.
denim shirt so
Yeah.
that you as an audience don't see it before she does.
Right.
Yeah.
That is brilliant. We're going to end with our What's Your 5-Star Weekend game. It's going to be easy. I'm going to ask you 5 questions and it's multiple choice. And I'm also
Easy.
going to be doing some answering. Okay. Number 1, are you itinerary people or go with the flow travelers?
Itinerary.
Itinerary.
Big time.
Obviously, I wrote the book. Okay. 2, for an afternoon snack, biscuit, chicken pot pie, or a cheese board?
Cheese board.
Cheese board. Who's
Yeah.
having pot pie
Well,
for a
'cause, yeah,
snack?
And
biscuit,
also,
chicken
What
pot pie is
kind of
dinner.
deranged person has that
And
for a
also
snack?
a biscuit is something sweet where I come from.
Right.
wrong.
So
So
that is-
chicken-
She's wrong.
No, that just doesn't make sense. Okay. Number
They're
3.
called chips.
What do you?
America.
Yes, that's
called-
true.
They're We're
Crisps.
in America. We call them chips. 3. What do you shop for? Art, home decor, or clothing?
Clothing.
Clothing.
Yeah,
We all
gypsy.
have the same answers. Clothing.
Gypsy, Erica Wilson.
Right.
Yeah, I just gave them all
And
my
I
money.
passed that
when I
on to
was
my
there.
daughter, Shelby.
Mhm.
If you're watching, your answer is clothing.
Mhm.
Number 4, dinner at Crew or 80s night at the Chicken Box?
Dinner.
It probably would end up being dinner because having a hangover takes 4 days to recover.
You are correct about that,
Right?
but I'm going with both because I
Okay,
I
but you
could
didn't say-
never just go to 80s night at the Chicken Box. My friends and I would always go out to dinner first, and Crew would be a great stop.
Okay, well, I'm jumping on your bandwagon.
Okay.
We're all going to do both.
We're all doing both. Thank you. Okay, this is a fun question. We'll all have different answers. Number 5, it's karaoke night. What's your song?
Mm-hmm.
Bekah?
Any Man of Mine, Shania Twain.
Okay.
Queen, Don't Stop Me Now.
And mine is Carly Simon's You're So Vain. Thank you so much for this
I don't
wonderful
believe-
conversation.
Thanks,
This
Ellen.
was
It
just
was
it was the
such a
best.
treat.
Good to see you. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you as always for joining me. And don't forget, you can watch the next episode of this podcast right now, where I'm talking to Harlow Jane, who plays Caroline, and Wes Duchovny, who plays Aubrey. So after you watch episode 6, come back to the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and follow the 5-Star Weekend official podcast so you don't miss an episode. If you like what you're seeing and hearing, Don't forget to leave a rating and review on your podcast player of choice. And if you aren't watching us right now, go check us out on Peacock. I'm Elin Hilderbrand. Thanks for joining me, and see you next time.